As you've described your background and even this anecdote about the school counselor is reinvention. Throughout your career, it seems like reinvention has really been the theme of your life, whether it's been on a corporate side or on a personal side. And I just want to talk about how you reinvent yourself again and again to really fit the times and to fit your personal life and where you want to go. How do you really navigate yourself when, day to day often just, wears us all down?
Yeah, I think we're not crisis proof. I mean, we're in a crisis today, and this crisis has caused companies to reimagine. I would say first they reflect, like, where are we? Is what we're going through, does the information that we have matter anymore? Do the paradigms and the beliefs that we had, do those still matter? Or do we have to have new paradigms and new beliefs? So I believe that as a human being, just like a company, we're not crisis proof, but we've had to become crisis resilient. The days of disruption, digital disruption, and the days of the gig economy or the changes that are happening in corporate America, we have to do a reflection and a reimagination. And then when you do that, you then say, well, you define your true north, and that true north may change, or you may have a micro goal that you may have that allows you to, to be agile, and you get to that micro goal. So if you have your true north and you say, well, then what must be true in order for me to get there? And then you create your strategy, and that strategy has to be agile because you have to take the information from the marketplace, information from your boss, information from your health, information from your family, information from the market, and be able to say, is that assumption that I made still valid? And if it's not still valid, then you pivot on that and then you make some changes to it. And so it's an iterative process. You don't really get there. It's almost like writing a program. You don't quite get there the first time. You have to go through the paces of getting feedback and then being able to modify your actions. And then when you do that and you listen, you become truly market driven, customer driven, and all that. Then you have these transformational disruptions, reinventions that end up happening. But it's because you've been reflective. You've been able to reimagine. It's like a seed. I always talk about people that say that life is like you're being a seed. There's times when you'll get buried by your family, buried by your peers, buried by your boss, buried by yourself, your health. But what does a seed do? A seed says, well, I'm no longer in that little envelope that I bought at Home Depot. I'm now in the ground. So my environment's changed, but I have a DNA that says that as a seed, I know how to grow. I know how to reach down into my ecosystem of dirt and silt and water and my mentors and my sponsors and all the people that care for me. And I'm going to be able to grab onto those and get my legs under me. And I'm going to come back and rise up. And so I've reinvented myself from a seed to a stalk of corn, or from a seed into a tree. And so I think it's all about being able to reflect and reimagine who we are, and then using our resources to transform.
So you had talked about being the first African-American woman and the first woman to report to the chairman of the board, who was also the CEO. I cannot imagine the obstacles and the challenges you face just getting to that point. Can you talk a little bit about your experiences and then advice for other women of color and other women who are dealing with just trying to not even break the glass ceiling, but to reach it?
I think one of the obstacles that came for me is the lack of real feedback. And I mean real feedback. When you ask someone, how am I doing? Okay, the answer is, you're doing great. And so you have to say, does what my boss say stack up with my appraisal and my compensation and my ability to be a hypo or high potential individual? If they match, that the feedback I'm getting and my appraisal and compensation is matching, then even if it's positive, it's up to the company to do what's needed to drive your advancement. If it's negative, then you have to do something to fix that. And I suggest that women or people of color or anyone, if you want to get real feedback, you don't just ask, how am I doing? You really say, what should I start doing that I'm not doing yet? What should I stop doing? that you see me doing a lot, and what should I keep on doing? And that way it becomes a real conversation that hopefully will give you or give the person some specifics about how they're really showing up. And so you've got to make sure that the audio matches the video, what they're saying and what they do is matching. That's one. I think number two is it's really a mindset shift. It's funny, my husband, my father, my husband's father, my brother-in-law, were all pastors. And one of the verses that I always heard, from the good book was, as a person thinketh in his heart or her heart, so is that person. And so a lot of it is your mindset. So all you have to believe that what you are here to do is more than maybe what you're already doing, and that know that you can do all things. So it's about how you think is going to change what you do, and what you do is going to change your outcome. So if you want certain kind of outcome, you have to change how you think. And so it's the combination of thoughts and actions and results, and making sure that you're getting the right feedback through your mentors or through your sponsors and through your boss to make sure that you are able to thrive. And then there's PI. I don't know how many people have heard about performance, image, and exposure, but my mother used to say to me that it really matters of what you do. Daphne, just be great in your business, and everybody will notice, and you'll get promoted, and it will be great. And so I had to realize that I created my own algorithm, and using Harvey Coleman's book, he talked about performance, image, and exposure. And if in your performance is one thing, that's great, but you also have to make sure that your image and your brand is positive. So when people think about Daphne coming to a meeting, what do they say? Oh, we're really going to get some great things done now because Daphne's coming, or because she's coming, we're going to tank. This meeting is going to be a waste of time. So your image is important. How you show up is important. Your brand is important. And also your exposure. Who knows you and who do you know? So if you have someone that knows you, they're willing to speak up on your behalf, because if nobody knows you, all the great performance in the world won't matter if nobody can speak about you on your behalf when you're not in the room and when you're not on Zoom. So I think those are the couple of things that I would say women and people of color just need to have in their back pockets, I think, to really win.
And I really appreciate that comment. I feel like very often women maybe potentially leave money on the table because of being polite and maybe just trying to fit.